यहाँहरूलाई फेट नेपाल च्यानलमा स्वागत छ।
नयाँ नयाँ भिडियो तथा जानकारी प्राप्त गर्नको लागि यो च्यानललाई सब्स्क्राइब गरी नजिकै रहेको बेल आइकनलाई थिच्नुहोस्।
I would like to welcome you all in this wonderful program. My topic is possible science behind disease outbreak, probably end the epidemic in poultry in Nepal. In this one, what I would like to say is ND, only the poultry disease recognized as very severe disease, reaching the mortality 100% in early days. When we were a student at the time of 60s, 70s, that time, we were only focusing ND, because it was the challenge in the field. We were hearing about the 100% mortality. That means, oh my goodness, how to protect like that. And it was the same here in Nepal also. That's why when the commercialization started, it was almost the same here in Nepal also. The history is like that. That's why, what is our way of problem solving? When the problem comes, like in Nepal, since last 1 year, we have been suffering with the different disease outbreak. We expect different, because we didn't have proper what you call diagnostic facilities, something like that. That's why, what is our way of the problem solving? What we do means, in majority, we do suspecting and blaming. For the disease diagnosis, being a veterinarian, I feel shy to say also, in our country, many of us, we usually, if there is the disease in the bird, we just suspect for the hatchery or for the feed mill or something like that. We don't go to the what is the real problem, something like that, and we will be blaming to the another. That is the, in majority, we do that one. And in some of us try to find the solution, that is by studying the things. Study in the sense, we just see the symptom and study what could be the problem of something like that. Then we do the observation on that one, and we do matching. Oh, in this place this was happened, and in another place this is happening. What is the problem of something like that? We do in that way. That is another way of dealing. And very few we try to do research. Means we try to find the root cause. What is there? Something like that. This is the way of solving, our way of solving the problem. And problem solving in the sense, in our country, services are available throughout the country by different means. Means we have the government employee of government services all throughout the country in all the 77 districts. And we have the service through the teaching institutes like universities or colleges also, or NGOs, INGOs, associations, and the private clinics or private practitioners. We do the services in this way. And how do we provide our service? Like, how do we diagnose or solve the problem till today? Then I have already mentioned some of the things, like majority first symptomatic on the basis of history. That is the very primitive way we do. Even in the college also, we sometimes do the almost the same. And in the second way, we do the history, taking the history and the symptoms and the observation. We do the observation of the case and treat or the solve the problem. And third thing is, we follow the first second one, history, symptoms, and the observation, and further we do the postmortem examination. And the fourth, we follow the third one in combination with the lab examination just. And this is in priority base I am putting here, and very, very less we do the fourth one. Means we, along with the lab examination, we do the further investigation, that is the science we are applying. I don't mean the others 1, 2, 3, 4 are not the science, but this time what I'm going to express is doing all sort of till the lab examination, we do further investigation, that is research behind on that one. That I'm calling here the science we follow very, very late. That's why lots of ND strains recognized all over the world. as Newcastle disease or Ranikhet. When Newcastle disease was discovered, and after 2 or 3 days in the Ranikhet in India, it was isolated. And it was also known as like a F1 or later many other strains like a B1, Lasota, Mukteswar or other virulent strain also it was coming up. Then when there is problem, there will be lots of investigation. The problem is coming, when the problem is coming, then there is we will try to do the lots of investigation from the different way. When there is problem, like we do the lots of investigation that it happens same with the ND. Like in the world, different types of vaccines have been developed according to the need. Like just before, Dr. Ray was describing all about the immunological scientific way, how it was designed, how it happened, something like that. Same thing it was happening in the early when there were the lots of problem in the ND, and they could find out different types of the vaccines that we commonly call that is ND vaccine or FN vaccine or Lasota. And later, again then, development came with the need. There is the clone, there is the thermostable vaccine, and different type of kill vaccine and genotype way. They also started describing the things in that way. And how and why this different types of vaccine came? Like it was the need of the time, because unless and until we find that one, and that was the problem. That's why it was the need of the time it was invented. And it was the problem focused because there was the lots of problem. That's why it was the focus in the problem. And it was included with the business also. But the business simply, it will not be done. Because if there will be need, then only the people will buy. If there is the demand, then only the business will come. In that way, the different types of vaccine were formulated or designed or developed. We need to look from the another aspect in the poultry development. Like what I would like to, at the time of 60s, when I was studying in India, my learning was, means giving the 7 kilograms of the feed in 70 days, and we were getting the 2 kgs of meat. And that was, it was the wonderful, wow, like that we have been telling in that way. It was very wonderful type of achievement. But now what I'm teaching is in common, 3.5 kilogram of feed in 35 days of life and getting the 2 kgs of meat. Like this is the way how it has been improving the science in this one. That's why in the disease outbreak, we need to think of this sort of things also is happening in our place. That's why it might have played the different type of role. That's why I have just said that there is different science might be following with us. That's why another thing is, I'm just talking here only about the broiler, and every year we are expecting the better. Means now we are trying to get giving the 3.5 kilograms of the feed in 35 days, 2 kilograms of meat. But every year and every hour, we should say, we are expecting better. What is that better? Means less investment and more achievement. And the less feed, less number of days to rear and more meat, more achievement like that. That is our expectation. But there are more other expectations, which are the very crazy type and which might lead the science in the different way. That crazy types could be. Now we are, our other crazy expectations are feederless chicken. We are thinking of that one. We have been talking now about the broiler, but our crazy expectation in the science, there are lots of other crazy expectations. That is, oh, sorry, something gone wrong. Hello.
Please continue, sir. It's okay here.
I'm not seeing here. Something gone wrong. Prakash, can you see?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes, sir.
We are seeing as well as we are hearing you. You can continue, sir.
There's something gone wrong with my. Okay, now I can also see. Okay. Uh, the crazy expectations are featherless chicken, boneless chicken, and the meat culture. And another thing is breeder laying more than one egg in a day and decreasing the incubation day of the embryos. Maybe it might not take the 21 days, something like that. And the chicks giving breeder hen instead of egg. Like that, we have the different crazy expectation in the science. And this has been already started the work in this one. That's why what I'm thinking is the science behind on this one, the work is happening in the world, might lead to different problem. But in the case of Nepal, it's completely might be the different one. Yeah, which I'm going to. Something wrong with me. And are they the worthy ideas? That's why here I'm asking the just question, are they the worthy ideas? In my opinion, I feel yes, because of the food safety and the food security point of view. But need to think from the another side also. We need to think, if we are going to think of in this way, then we need to think of in a different way also. Are we going against the nature, or against the we are challenging the nature, something like that, or up to which limit we can go? If we are going to do this one, if we are challenging the nature, up to which limit we can challenge? And will it change biology of the bird? Definitely, there will be. That's why, does it fit other things which we have been doing earlier? Like that questions we need to think if we are going to think of the different other ideas. That's why poultry production system, what I think is, in poultry production system, we have started from the backyard enterprises. Then now it is computer control program or computer control production we have started. In this one, now there are, behind this one, there are the poultry nutrition. Like in poultry nutrition, in 1834 only, the word protein was first used. And in 1950s, protein and amino acid requirements of the poultry started. And 1940s, when the concept of the metabolized energy was introduced. Like this, in the poultry nutrition, many things it has been developed. Like that, in the vitamin, in 1912, first time term vitamin was used. It was proposed. And in 1940s, and 12 vitamins were identified. And like that, vitamin D in 1970s, like that. This way, minerals are also being used, and it has been continued in that way. Like in antibiotics, also same thing. Even in the Europe, antibiotics were used widely earlier, but when they started banning, then the search of alternative additives, it started. But these are the things which it is happening in our country. There is no ban of antibiotics, something like that. That's why there is some of the relation with the science, which other people are getting, but we are facing the problem, something like that. That's why we need to focus this one in a different way. And poultry nutrition is now a scientifically mature subject. This is now very scientifically mature subject. Now we should also go for the poultry housing. Right? Now, lots of mechanization, it has been already happened. That's why there are lots of change from the nature, like different features of the housing. There is roofing, floor, drinkers, feeders, water. There are lots of things in the net. And protection against the disease. When there is development, like different development is there, like in the meat production, which I have already mentioned, in nutrition, in housing, there are lots of development in the poultry industry. And was there consideration about the immunology of the bird? Now we need to think of that one. There was development in the production wise, but to protect the disease. Was there the consideration about the immunology of the bird? That's why, just for the thinking, there must be thinking about that one. I just have one concern with you all, that what happens when an infectious agent comes in contact with the body? What happens? Now, I just give you this little information about this one. In general, first, the organism comes in contact, that is encounter or adsorption with the body. What happens? There are three possible outcomes it comes. Most common, they do not get entry or are rapidly eliminated. When they get entry, then they are rapidly eliminated, like with the different physical action or something like that. We can see just when something is entered in our nose, there is sneezing or different secretion, then we try to remove it out. Just like when it goes through the mouth, it happens in the same. Almost 99%, they don't get entry. And very less common, they get entry and colonize, form a normal flora. Like about 0.9% of the organism, when they get entry, and they just become the normal flora, something like that in the body. That's why we get all these microorganisms inside our body. In very few cases, maybe less than 0.1%, they cause the disease. And how it happens, that's why what we say, so disease is more the exception than the rule. Disease is the more the exception than the rule. It's not simply disease will not be caused, because there will not be lots of disturbances, lots of problem, then only the body can get into the pathogenic organism. Otherwise, this is just the exception, not the rule. Now, what I would like to say, after this encounter, then there will be the entry and there will be the multiplication, spread, and the damage. Okay, if they get entry only, but most of them, they will not get entry. Even after entry, what happens? See, after the entry, to get the entry, what they are supposed to be? They must be capable of entering a host. The organism, which are less than 0.1%, they must be capable of entering the host. And they may enter, but they must find the unique niche, their specific place. We sometimes tell the target organ, then only they will go and proliferate or get the dose to be infected. They will multiply and get the dose to be infected with that host. Then another is that organism must avoid or subverting the host immune response. After getting in entry also, there are immune response, that is all the Dr. Ray, he has already described. It was quite easy to understand for all of us, because what is the immune response? What happens like that? Regarding with the ND, he has already described. There are a little bit of different cases happens with the other things. The most of the things, it happens with organism, the same thing what the Dr. Ray was telling. And multiply, spread, and damage. Then only if they are capable of doing all this thing, then only they will be multiplying all, then spread, and they do the damage. That way, that's why what we say, if it is the bacterium, goal of any bacterium is to become bacteria. Or now we are talking about the virus. That's why goal of any organism to multiply either by multiplication or by replication. Here we talk about the replication because we are now concerned with a bit of more problematic things of ND. That's why we are talking about the replication. Here we talk about replication. I mean to say, to cause the disease, replication of the virus, it must be that already with the structure of the ND virus, Dr. Ray has already described. Now all of us, we can just remember how it go inside the body. Even as a virus, live virus, as a vaccine, or as a field virus, what are the structure they have? They could have the fusion and they get entry into the cell. Like replication of the virus need living cell for the replication. That we all, veterinarian or the veterinary student or concerned person who are interested for this one, we know about that one. Virus need living cells for the replication. And during the replication, there is mutation. Now, I'm coming to the point of that one. During the replication, there is mutation. Now, the science behind this one, probable science, what I am thinking of that one is that mutation could be the single mutation. Like mutation in the same variant or same variant, which is enter inside the body. And the more they spread, the more they change. This is the thing what happens in virus. The more they spread, the more they change. This might be the cause which is happening in case of our country. And could be the double mutation. There may be the double mutation due to two different strain or two different variant or due to two different members of two different groups. There is the chance in the cell to multiply two different type of virus to get inside the cell. Like now we are getting in our country the different type. It is not quite similar with the ND symptoms. It is not quite similar with the Yas9 symptom, something like that. There is the mixing of these two, something like that. That's why there might be the double mutation system might have occurred. And there could be the triple mutation. Could be the mutated virus, double mutated with the another member of the variant or other member of the virus it could have. Or three different variants could come together in a one single cell that I'm going to describe here a little bit of in different way. Could be single mutation. Mutation in the same variant or variant due to characteristic of the virus. Now, just I'm going to try to focus on Yas9 and the ND, especially RNA virus. RNA virus we find in the double-stranded or single-stranded. And in single-stranded, like which we are talking about, and there is the different sense, like the positive sense and the negative sense. And here we are talking about the negative sense. Single-stranded, negative sense, that is paramyxoviridae or orthomyxoviridae. There are probable chance of happening this one in combination or mutated singly in a different variants has come, and this science could be behind this problem, what we are not being able to be protected in a different way if we are using the different type of vaccine also. And there could be the physical conditions for the change. There could be the environmental change, or there may be the chemical which is leading to the change to the virus. This is just another possible cause. And in the double mutation, there is large probability of the double mutation if two different virus enters into the same cell. Like if there are the two different variant and coming together into the same cell, and there is probability of the double at the time of replication, especially during the translation and transcription, and also the assembly. There is very, very large chances of having recombination. In the single mutation, there could be the point mutation or something like that. Here, there is the very large chances of recombination with the different genes. That's why there is probable of we are getting the different problem in the country. That's why possibly arises during the vaccination of the infected flock. We have the practice here doing things. Maybe there is the infection, and we try to vaccinate in that time, and already there is the infection with another one type of virus, and we are injecting the another type of virus in that one, and there is a probability of this sort of double mutation or two different variants infect in the same cell. That's the way it might cause different type of infection. And in triple mutation, three different variants come together in a single cell and form a new variant or new strain, or already double mutant variant and another different variant if forms inside the body, inside the cell, then there is the probable signs when there is the replication. When there is the, in the replication, as we already know about the, when there will be uncoating, there will be release, then translation, transcription, and assembly will happen in that time, there is lots of chances of happening this thing in the cell, and we get the different type of variants. And double mutated variants with another different variants coming together in one cell and form the new strain. This could be the another style, another way of thinking in here. That's why interesting part of these new variants are, we need to think of how infectious they are, and how deadly they are, and resistant to the antibody. In the mutation, I should say, when there is the mutation, we cannot expect only the possibility of the pathogenicity increasing. If we are lucky enough, sometime there will be the different type of mutation where pathogenic virus might come into the non-pathogenic way. This might also happen. That's why I have been telling here how infectious it is and how deadly. And resistant to the antibody, that is the antibody to the wild virus antibody, and the same whether it will be protected by the vaccine or vaccine antibody. That's what question comes, whether vaccine can work against Newcastle variant. We have the lots of suspicion in this one here, because practicing the vaccination schedule is almost the same. And with the consulting with all the other experts, we have tried to change the vaccination schedule also here. But there is probability, and we are not getting the positive result. That's why, that is the cause why we are organizing this session today here. That's why we need as much information about this one. We need to find out all about the information, then only we need to go for the further action. That's why another reason maybe there is the climate change here now. Lots of change in the environment, in the climate. Weather, day by day, there is the different type of weather we are getting. And throughout the year, the climate is totally changed. That's why this climate change leading to the unfavorable condition for the bird. Because in which standard we have been doing the vaccination earlier, because there is lots of changes in the climate, and we have been continuing that one. That may be the reason. That's why body immune response is different. And there may be, because of this climate change and because of the problem throughout the world with this pandemic, there is the cold chain problem also. There is lots of breakage of the cold chain. And because of this breakage of the cold chain, and country like Nepal, there is lots of disturbances in the this supply of the electricity. There may be, because of this problem, cold chain break is there. That's why we need to think about the vaccine storage, and we need to think of the vaccine transportation. We are using the vaccine, but which quality vaccine we have been using? That's why this could be the another reason for another science behind this one, why there is the outbreak of the diseases. And housing problem also, because of the climatic change. Lots of rain. And our house, we are not what you call maintaining in that way. It's the same one. Because of this changes of the climate, there may be the problem. That's why there may be the problem of incompatibility of the vaccine. Vaccine incompatibility also there, because of due to the mutation of the virus. The vaccine is not compatible, and therapeutic incompatibility will be there. There may be change. That's why there will be the incompatibility. There is no compatibility in a therapeutic level also. Maybe there is physical incompatibility and chemical incompatibility. That's why there may be another reason for this happening. And incompatibility of the vaccine could be the following reason, like poor administration of the vaccine, or stress condition because of this climatic change. Practice is the same, but the climate is changed in a different way. And inactivation of the live vaccine, there may be the problem in inactivation. And the vaccine is not working properly. or health status of the bird, could be the change of the climate or in different way. Temperature and ventilation is dose route of the vaccine, and the poor antigenicity of the vaccine could be also there. And there will come this poor antigenicity of the vaccine, as well as the schedule of the vaccine also could be the another reason. As we have been practicing here, like the first week and directly in the third week, this live vaccine in a broiler actually. But now the Dr. Ray was suggesting with the very proof of the immunological aspect, even in the 9th day, in the 2nd week, also we must give, and it gives the good protection for the birds. This might also the another thing. That's why cause of vaccine incompatibility. Another one is precipitation, agglutination. It happens, inactivation issue, chemical bond changing, formation of the toxic metabolism, anaphylactic reaction in the body. There are different incompatibility in the body. That's why possible signs behind this one could be the mutation of the field virus. There could be. And another is there is no compatibility of the vaccine. And could be the cold chain break of vaccine, climate change, and others could be like birds' genetic improvement. That's what I informed earlier, which I studied in my bachelor study time. When I studied, that was the 7 kilograms, 70 days, and the 2 kilograms. And the same thing, feed has, the amount of feed, it has reduced to 3.5 kgs, and days, along with that one, days, 35 days, 50% of the days also there, and to get the same amount of meat. Like there must be the lots of changes in birds' genetic issue. And this genetic issue might not respond with the vaccines, what it was prepared earlier, and which we have been practicing here like before. And another things could be the nutrition factor of the feed. Like I have already mentioned about the nutrition, since last 100 years, there is lots of change. And there is the change in the vaccine also, but in the short run, we have the problem here in the country. That's why there is we have to look in that aspect also, like nutrition factor of the feed and housing and the poor biosecurity. And that's I have seen in the picture, which Dr. Ray was showing there, biosecurity, one of the main, with the blinking way he was showing, biosecurity is the most. If there is no problem entry inside the farm, then there is no problem. But if that all the problem we can check through the biosecurity. That's why suggestion to solve the problem. Lots of information must be collected regarding to solve this problem in our country. Lots of information must be collected. We have been only beating in the bush, I should say, and we have not started doing the things. That's why let's start information collection. Field disease causing virus for its typing. For its genotyping, we need research. That is the science behind this one. We need to find out, then only that, because we have the symptom, we have the problem of doing the things like earlier what we have been doing. But the thing size, the vaccine and other things, it has been improved in other country. And with that vaccine, we have been trying to protect in our bird, which is having different, which might have the different issue here. That's why let's try to collect the information of this one. That is with the help of field type, virus typing, and efficacy evaluation of the vaccine. Whatever with the information what we are getting in the leaflets and from the others, we just practicing that vaccine, whether with our birds this is working or not. That efficacy we need to test it. Then only we can blame to the vaccine. Otherwise, we cannot. That's why we need to think in this aspect too. And another is compatibility, test of vaccine with field virus and the reference virus. This compatibility test, then only whether it is compatible or not, we can think of here. Otherwise, we cannot do. That's why to solve our problem, we need to do this one and identifying the cold chain efficacy. Now, we just believe this is, yes, we got the vaccine and we took it and given to the bird. But we have not tested with this cold chain because of the lots of problem in the country throughout the world. There are lots of breakage because many months there was no transportation, aero transportation to bring the vaccine. And once it came, and the same one time getting the chance and brought the lots of vaccine, whether that is stored properly or not, we don't know. That's why we need to think of in that way to solve this problem. And another thing is coordination of the vaccine authority with research team of the breeding system. We need to have this sort of connection, coordination with the breeding system, as well as the housing and the nutrition estate. Then only there will be coordination. Then only that vaccine will be working properly with the bird. That's why we need to think from the different side. And the another thing is the biosecurity. The biosecurity, we must have that one. Then only, if we don't have the other supportive things, if we can very strong enough with the biosecurity, then we can solve the problem in a very, very effective way. But now, I just talk about the biosecurity. Until and unless the meaning of antimicrobial resistance and the antimicrobial residue understood, the biosecurity is just the game of soap. Now, what I am talking about here is, I'm talking about the bacterial issue, and I'm talking here the antimicrobial resistance. Here, in our case, especially what we say, we believe on the medicine. We talk so much about the biosecurity. Our farmers, even the we doctors, we talk a lot about the biosecurity, but when we go to the farm, we don't just check the biosecurity. In which standard the biosecurity is there. That's why, unless and until, why I'm talking about the antimicrobial, when there was banning of antimicrobial in the Europe, see, the biosecurity works there very nicely. But here, we all are mostly believing on the medicine, this antimicrobial, antibiotics. Then we are ready to prescribe this one, and our farmers, they are happy with it because this thing gives very immediate result in particular cases. Then we believe on that one. But we don't understand the meaning. The person who are using the antimicrobial, we don't understand the meaning of resistance and the residue. We have been talking this year, the year of this antimicrobial resistance just passed, but still, this is the talk of the town only. We talk, but we have been using, we have been practicing this one. We must make the planning of this one until when we need to stop this one. Well, if we do that one, then only the meaning of the biosecurity comes in front. That's why biosecurity is nice to listen and talk, but hesitate to practice. And happening the same thing. When the topics come about the biosecurity, we just listen. I know about the theoretical aspect of biosecurity. Whoever present here, we all know about this one. But how many of us, we have been focusing on that one in our practical life? That's why this is another science behind the disease outbreak in our country. Yes, we are focusing on the different aspect, but this is also the one of the major issue. That's why biosecurity. Now, simply, I just want to say something about the biosecurity. Biosecurity means this is the isolation. Isolation in the sense, new additions should be inspected carefully. screened and quarantined. That is isolation in the biosecurity. In the different way we can talk, and we have been talking since last 20 years, I think, about the biosecurity, biosecurity, biosecurity. Now, in the farmers case, I have gone through in the different training program. We go for the biosecurity training, and they are quite interesting to listen. And at the last, there is no question at all, because then theoretically knowledge they understand. But the last, in which place the things happen, then people start talking about the, oh, food was nice, or he was good, or something like that. There is no issue. They are not properly, what you call, feel from the heart that this has to implement it in our farm, and we will be protected from the disease or something like that. That's why isolation is the one thing. Another thing is the resistance. This resistance includes nutritional, environmental, or pharmacological and immunological practices that improves ability to resist the disease. It comes different things, which comes under the biosecurity. And the another thing is sanitation. Sanitation in the sense removal or eradication of the infected or carrier animal. And another is disinfection of contaminated equipment of the facility. This one, in the biosecurity, most of the people take the very, very cautious precaution in sanitation. But in nature, actually sanitation works very less, because this disinfection and other thing in many of the organic material, this disinfectant will not work. And more than this one, sanitation in the sense removal, or maybe water only washing and cleaning may work very properly. That's why in the farm, when we go, we see the sprayer and we spray it, but the lots of things will be with us with the organic material, and that sanitation, disinfection will not work properly. That's why there are lots of questions regarding this biosecurity. I just want to show you about the questions, that is whether biosecurity questions, do you have the responsibility? Now we all need to think of about this one. Responsibility for the biosecurity. Do you have the responsibility of this one? Or do we give the training to our staff? Or do you have the regular planning of the training about the biosecurity to our staff, to our farm staffs? And another thing is separation. Do we have the line of separation for the security, so that from there should not be entered like that? Do we have the buffer area, effective perimeter buffer area? Do we have? That question we must have. And the personal, what, when, personal hygiene, what to wear, when to wear, something like that, when to go. For this personal hygiene, we must have the question with us, and with that question we must answer yes, then only there will be protection. Like wild bird, rodent and insect control program, do we have this one? If we have this one, then we can be protected. Same thing like equipment and the vehicle management. What sort of vehicle, with what disinfectant or cleaning level we entry with this vehicle, that sort of management do we have? Like another thing is mortality disposal. There are lots of things about the disposal. That is one thing, regular, maybe there may be 1 or 2 birds, something like that. Mortality in the farm. Is there the practice of suitable disposal things which may not lead or which may not destroy the biosecurity, something like that? That question we must have. And another thing, manure and litter management. How do we managing this manure or litter? That question. From where we are bringing? How? This way, we must have the question. And the replacement of the poultry. This question, like what type of farm? From where we are getting the replacement flock? Is there the healthy farm, the best farm? Like that, for that one also we have the plan. We have to manage And another is water supplies. What sort of water supplies we have been giving, in what way, what is the type of water supply, like that. We need to have the question. If we have all the answers, yes, we are doing the best, then only the biosecurity can be there. And feed and replacement litter, reporting of the elevated morbidity and mortality farmers, whether they have reported or not, or the person, whether that sort of training, that sort of management is there or not. This should be reported very frequently about the morbidity and the mortality, and whether we are doing the self-auditing or not. We are doing our self-auditing. It's not the thing to sue for the others. Most of the biosecurity action in our country, this is for the suing for the others. If somebody asks, do you have? Yes. But if we are doing the self-auditing, then we may not feel satisfaction with that one. That's why the problem is coming. This is the how I would like to mention here. And lastly, what I would like to say, there is the story of one clever boy and the fortune teller. Fortune teller, he was good enough to tell the fortune of the birdie in a very, very correct way. But one day, the clever boy, the nutty boy, he wanted to, what you call, do the fraud with the fortune teller, make him false. That's why one day he just caught a bird with in the two hand and covered, and went in front of the fortune teller and asked him, what is inside my hand? And the fortune teller started thinking of that one and started putting the zodiac in a different way, and he started seeing in his way, and he could identify and asked to the boy, yes, you have the bird in your hand. Now the clever boy was frowning. He was thinking, today he will disappoint the fortune teller, and he will be happy after disappointing the fortune teller. But later he was, wow, I did a thing, this one, and still then he came to know about this bird. Now he has another question in his mind, and he started thinking of asking, now I'll be asking this person the different question. Then he asked the fortune teller, may I ask you another question? And the fortune teller told, yes, okay, please. And the fortune teller was thinking, this stupid boy might be thinking in a different way. Let him ask the question. Then the clever boy asked the question, will this bird die or live? Remain. What happens? Will it die or remains live? Now, why he was asking the question means, if the fortune teller tells it will be alive, then he will immediately kill the bird and make him false. And if fortune teller tells, no, it will die, then he will just release. Thinking in this mind, he started telling this one. Then when he put this question, whether this bird will die or will be alive, then fortune teller just remembered himself. Then he just put forward another question to the clever boy. And what he told, see the boy, now you want me to tell answer, but I'm not such a person to tell about his life. Now it's all in your hand. If I tell you it will be dying, then you will just leave it and you will make it alive. But if I tell it will be alive, then you will just kill it in front of me. And how? This is up to you. It's not with me. That's why these are the things why I am telling here is this story. Lots of things are in our mind, but we are not practicing well and not doing well in a right manner. That's why maybe we are facing the problem of disease outbreak in a different way. That's why let's think at a very right way. Then maybe we can solve the problem with ourselves. This is how I would like to conclude my session here. Thank you very much for providing me an opportunity in this session. Thank you, the organizer.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Basmith, for your informative presentation. I'd like to take a few questions from participant side. I think there is one question. What would you like to suggest for the field practicing vet to control ND at present situation?
Actually, to give the answer with this question is, we have just taken the class of Dr. A. Earlier, the practice which we have been doing is not protecting the bird, as we are thinking that that is the ND, but we are not able to protect that one. That's why let's practice with another one, like 3 consecutive vaccines within the 3 weeks of period. Then might be, this could be like here, if we have the lots of challenge, field virus challenge, then we need to, what you call, bring our bird in a very strong situation. For that one, could be, we have to minimize the maternal immunity very early, then bring it the, what you call, humoral or self-mediated immunity in a very high level. That could be done with this practice. Yes.
There is one question. Is there any investigation work carried out about the recent ND endemics in Nepal? Is there any investigation and finding?
There are lots of seminar and workshop what's going on from the government level, also from the private farmers level also. But the in an action collection of the sample, and I have no idea about that one. Relating with this issue, I have no idea whether they have started, but there was lots of seminar going on. That is also initiation actually.
There is one question. Do we practice intracerebral pathogenicity index determination in Nepal, and how helpful is it for diagnosis and to determine the virulence and vaccine efficacy?
It is good actually. In Nepal, I don't think we are not practicing that one, but if we start practicing that one, it will be quite helpful to know the scenario actually.
So how can we overcome the diagnosis difficulty of viral disease in field practice in Nepal? I think this is the last question.
Actually, first of all, we need to diagnose it. And in my thinking, our serotyping of the virus, which is infecting now in the bird, is different. There is mutation. That's why that mutated virus is not being protected with our vaccine. That's why I suggest for the study strongly, then only we need to apply, or at least we can initiate the compatibility of the vaccine with our virus, isolated virus. Then only we can make the one planning and go. In that way, we can. First, my suggestion is actually we need to collect the lots of information. We need to have a research now. Otherwise, because vaccine type, it is coming from the another country, it was prepared with their need, with their problem. But we have this time, only the Nepal has the big problem with this one. Even with the neighboring country also, this sort of problem is not there. That's why we must have lots of investigation, then only, otherwise, to satisfy, we have to do the same sort of information what we have got from the array. We might practice and see. But in my opinion, we need to study hard and find out our own problem really, then only we can solve.
Okay, thank you, Professor Bosnet, and dear participant, for your questions. Okay, with this, we are at the end of today's webinar. On the behalf of organizing committee, I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to our speaker, Dr. Ray, and Professor Bosnet, for your outstanding presentation and valuable support to this webinar. We are equally thankful to all our valued participants. Tomorrow we will resume with sharing on infectious brucell disease, HPS, and IB at 11 a.m. sharp. Thank you all. Have a good time. Stay safe, stay healthy. See you tomorrow. Thank you.